Hi everyone, my name is Jasmin. I was diagnosed with FOP when I was 5.5 years old. It started from my neck and then shoulders, and then my back started having lesions on it. Scoliosis started forming.
FOP stands for fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva, and it's an ultra-rare genetic disorder that causes skeletal muscle and connective tissue turn into bone. That bone causes restriction in joint movement, which causes them a lot of disability, and they're usually wheelchair bound by the second decade of life.
The most difficult thing about FOP is definitely the progression and not knowing how that's going to affect you. It's just this constant unknowns. The most important thing for me with my independence through the years has been traveling by myself. I love to have new adventures and feeling independent. I would just love to not have that fear of not being able to walk someday.
All right, ready?
My life today is drastically different than it was just 2 years ago. The flare-up started in my right thigh. It went to my right knee, my right shin, and then my left leg started flaring in more of the hip area. It was just an overwhelming feeling of helplessness and shock. Usually when you have a flare-up, you kind of figure out how to adapt to it, and then you can usually move on and get used to this new normal. But for me, it just seems like it's never ending.
It's been a brutal, life-altering year. There's no other way to describe it. This has really impeded her ability to navigate her world the way she would like to.
It was very scary to have to go through this, having to just pretty much surrender to FOP and know that nothing was in my control.
When Jasmin first came to us, we thought she'd be here for a month, maybe 2 months at most. She's been here for almost a year now, and we've just had to adapt each day or each week or each month to the changes in her body and what she needs.
1, 2.
Probably the hardest thing is just having to rely on all this help all of a sudden.
She cannot reposition herself in bed. She cannot get out of bed without help. And even with meals, which she's able to feed herself, she needs help getting that food to her.
Right now, I really just have this little corner of my room that I'm in, and I'm not able to walk anywhere. I've been trying to just maintain a sense of hope and inner peace.
I don't think there's ever been a more hopeful time for the FOP community, and that is due to the research discoveries that have been made throughout the world.
We know a lot about FOP right now. We have the gene discovery that happened in 2006, so we know the exact gene responsible for this disease.
The discovery of the FOP gene gave a central target for developing therapies. We now have 2 clinical trials in the United States, 1 in Japan, 1 in Europe, and hopefully within the next year, we will have as many as 4 or 5 new clinical trials.
I don't think any of this would have been possible if it wasn't for the efforts of the IFBA, the patients, and their families. We need to use that energy to keep going and not to stop.
Support for research is more important now than ever.
There are yet so many questions that we don't have the answers for. The more funding we have to support the research, to understanding this disease, and to identifying treatment, the faster we can give those drugs to our patients.
My hope for Jasmin's future is that we have a medication that can stop this continuous onslaught of FOP that continually robs her of independence, of movement, of living a pain-free life.
If I was able to just get used to where I'm at now with my body and not fear that I'm gonna lose other mobility, to have that peace of mind, I think that's definitely something that we're praying for.
She hasn't given up. Her life has changed, but she's not given up on being able to live her best life. I want that for her. She deserves that.
Please support the IFOPA so that people with FOP can have more hope for the future.